Hey everyone, nice to be with you all again on week 6 with Cloth Cats Get Your Act Together with me, Jack Winn. Looking forward to getting some new things this week. We're going to be looking at a new topic. We're going to be looking at finger picking and attempting to do finger picking, and also looking at something called arpeggios and what is an arpeggio and how we are going to apply playing an arpeggio to our playing. But before we get started, as we do every week, I'm just going to quickly say a little disclaimer. Where is it? Yeah, so if you're under 18, please tell your parents you're doing this session, and please feel free to ask questions and write comments in the section to the side. But stay safe online, just use your first name, and I hope you enjoy today's session. Yeah, so like I said, today we're going to be getting into a new topic. We're going to be looking at, because it's week 6 now, and we've been covering riffs, we've covered bar chords in different positions. So I thought this week we can sort of take some of that, what we've been applying, and put it into something new. And so we're going to be looking at arpeggios and finger picking. So when I say finger picking, what I mean by that is if I was to take a chord, for example, if I was going to take a C major chord, just strumming it like that, if I was to finger pick that song, it was me. I'm going to put this down, a plectrum or a pick, as you might want to call it, and I'm going to play that with my fingers. So I tend to use all 4 of my fingers. You might find when you're starting out with this, you might just want to use the 2 fingers. You might find it comfortable using 3, plucking them like this. So going back and forth like that, for example. But yeah, so we're going to be getting into that today. But just before we get into that, as we do always, we've got a couple of new warm-ups that we can do. We're looking at a new scale, A natural minor, which is in rock school grade 1 as well. If you've been following these sessions, you know we've been looking at rock school grade 1. We've been doing different things. So we've been looking at riffs in rock school grade 1, scales in rock school grade 1. We've been looking at E minor pentatonic, C major, and this new one we're going to be looking at today is A natural minor, which is what you just heard me playing at the start of the session. I was putting it into a musical context, or putting it into a little chord progression with a little riff that we're going. So there, I'm just using, it sounds pretty cool, but I'm just using all the notes based in the A natural minor riff. But before that, I'm going to make sure everyone's in tune. I'd like to do a new tuning thing today. So I'm sure some of you will have tuning apps, or maybe even tuning pedals and things like that. Or you might go online. You can go online and find tuners as well. But I wanted to show you all a good way how to tune up without any of those gadgets. So if you find yourself with a dead phone, or if you're just out and about and you've got a guitar with you. So this is one really handy way of how to tune your guitar. So as long as you've got your low E string here in tune, or in what you think might sound like an E, so a guitar can be in tune with itself. So if you play a piano, as long as a piano's in tune, if you play a low E, that will be concert pitch. So that's what a tuning pedal or an app would tune to. But if you're in tune with yourself, a guitar can still be in tune. Just means if you're going to play with another musician and have a jam or something like that, their chord E major, for example, might sound different to your E major because of the way you tuned and the way they've tuned. But anyway, yeah, without further ado, so to tune our guitar, so if you've got your low E string here, if I go up to the 5th fret and play the note A on the low E, if I match that to the 2nd string A, I know it's the same one. And if it's flat, I can just, so I've just tuned my A string flat now, so I can know it's flat. So I need to match that note to that note. So you're using your ear, so you're using aural skills here. like that. And then so then as I go down the neck, I'm going to stay in the same position. So I'm going to put my finger on the 5th fret of the A string and then match it to the note D, and I know that's okay. And I'm going to do the exact same when I go down to the note, to tune the note G. I'm going to put my finger on the 5th fret of the note D. So there, I'm going to match that. But then when we go to tune our B string, it's a little bit different. We're going to go down a semitone. So remember, the difference between 1 fret is a semitone. So we're going to move our finger down on the G string on the 4th fret. Okay, nice. And then you're matching those notes. And again, if you're a bit flat, you need to tune up. Just tune it up and match that note. Or if you're a bit sharp, come down to it. So I know I'm okay there because I've tuned before I started this session. And then last but not least, then we're going to go back to the 5th fret for our final string that we're going to tune, the high top E. So I know I'm okay there. And I always like to check them in tune with a chord that I'm really familiar with and I can sort of pitch to my ear. So I always like to tune to an E major chord. See there, I can realise, I know that my top E is sharp, it sounds dissonant. So I'm going to go back to that 5th fret of the B string and I'm going to go down and then match them again. And there's no rush, you know, just take your time with this, just really listen to that note and know that you've got it in. And this is really good practice, guys, to practice your what's called oral skills, to be able to identify notes without playing them or without seeing them. It's a really good skill to have. Yeah, so hopefully you're all in tune, got a nice E chord there. We're going to get into a really cool, it's called a string skipping exercise. And it looks a little something like this. So I'm going to take my first finger and I'm going to put it on the note C, on the 3rd fret of the A string. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up the neck, but I'm going to skip a string. So I'm going to, instead of going like that, I'm going to go 3rd on the A string, 4th on the G string, 5th on the G string, and finally 6th on the B string. And once I get to that B string, so all in all, that's going to sound like this. So it sounds really weird and dissonant, but really, it's a really good exercise too. So once you get to that top note B there, on that top B, I'm going to take my first finger and put it on the 3rd fret of the B string. I'm going to go up like that. So I'm going to go 3rd fret on the B, 4th fret on the G, 5th fret on the D, and finally 6th fret on the A. So all in all, that's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you've done that, you can take your first finger, move it up a note, and go 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you get really good and getting fast, you can start to make a little bit of a musical phrase, and it sounds okay and pretty cool. But yeah, so yeah, we've got that. I just wanted to get into a nice little rhythm exercise as well. We're going to be using these chords later on for trying when we're going to be doing this finger picking exercise that I'm going to be talking about. But firstly, I just want to get everyone to play a chord C for me. I'm going to be practicing. I'm going to be talking about something called half time and normal time. So if I'm playing this chord C, I want to slide that, I want to keep that shape exactly the same. And we're going to slide it up a whole tone. So I'm going to go semitone, semitone. So your ring finger should be on the 5th fret of the A string, like so. And what chord we're playing there is a D, but we're playing it in the C position, like our C major there. We're playing it like there. It's a D, because our bass note is on the 5th fret of the A, which is the note D. Like so. And then last but not least, we've got an A minor chord. So hopefully you'll be familiar with an A minor. You put your first finger on the B string, and you put your ring finger on the 2nd fret on the G, and you put your middle finger on the 2nd fret on the D string. So it sounds like so. Okay, so this chord progression that we're going to do is a chord exercise, practicing going between normal time and half time. So you'll hear it when I'm counting it. Just follow along. So we're going to go down, down, up, down. We've done this strumming pattern before. It's a nice and easy one. Get everyone involved. So we're going to go down, down, up, down. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, and change, 2, 3, 4, and finally 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're in here is a half time. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and change, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So count with me, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to switch to double time in a second. 3, 4, and 1, 2, 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 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, double time there, and each chord is changing after 4 beats. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And a good little skill to be able to get this chord progression down is always you keep this finger fretted. So I'm going fret there, that finger stays on, and then go up again. That first finger stays on, same shape here, and I'm going to switch this down. Only the finger that changes is this finger. My ring finger just slots under there. So it's a good little chord progression for practicing changing between chords and practicing between half time and normal time, double time. So I can go C, D, and keep those fingers on the same one, slot that under there like so. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and half time. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and so yeah, I just wanted to have a little go at showing you like different times and stuff, and so hopefully you can take that and have some fun with it. And that's a nice little chord progression, which because a lot of your fingers keep rooted on the same position. You don't take them off and try and fret them in a different position. So it's a good one to get involved with. But yeah, we're going to look at a Rock School Grade 1 riff. As I was doing at the start of this session, I was using it in a musical context, putting it, making that scale into a riff. I was going like so. Yeah, so this riff is this scale, sorry, A natural minor. It's on part of Rock School Grade 1. I'm going to do this to a metronome just because I think when we're practicing these scales, it's really important to keep a sense of time as we're doing them. But before we do that, let's get involved with the notes and know what the scale is. So this scale is going to start obviously A natural minor. It's going to start on the note A. So we're going to start on our open position A, like so, okay? And then we're going to go second fret on the note B, and then third fret, the note C, and then it's going to skip a string, go on the string D, and then open D, and then we're going to play E, and then F, and then open G, and then A. Okay, so it's all in all, it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you should end up on the second fret on the G string there, like so. So I'm going to get a metronome. I'm going to let you guys have a little run through that. So again, just to reiterate, it's 0, 2, 3, 0, 2, 3, 0, 2. And that's our A natural minor. So I'm going to get a metronome up for this one. We're on a nice steady tempo of 80 beats per minute. So I'm going to get that going. 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm ending a nice A minor chord there, okay? And that's a really good scale to know it's because like again, it's really easy because you're just kind of playing in the same little box shape like this, like that, and it's got you can do lots of cool things with it. You can do like a hammer on, so hammer on, or you can do polos, things like that. And so it's a really cool scale, and we'll get into a little bit later on how we can put that in a musical context and make it sound really cool. But just noticed time is cracking on, so I want to get into arpeggios, and like for us to be able to identify what an arpeggio is. So an arpeggio could be either ascending or descending, or it can be alternating. So an arpeggio basically just means uh, like going over a chord, so playing separate notes. So rather than playing a chord in full like that, C, I'm gonna go. So I'm plucking the notes individually. So that's going up because it's going up the notes. I can do it down or descending, or we can do alternate. So like swapping. So I'm going up, then down, and up. So I'm going down, up, like so. And I've got that chord progression we were practicing with our rhythm, C to our D, but keeping in the C shape and in A minor. Excuse me. I thought we could practice doing some arpeggios with this, but just I can feel like I'm going a bit fast with this one because it's a tricky thing to get your head around. So I want us just to get on that chord C like so, and we're just going to practice going up the notes. So I want you to get your pick, if you're playing with your pick, or your fingers if you're playing with your fingers. I want you to just place it on that A string there on the third fret with your finger there. So you've got that there. So we're just going to practice slowly, a nice slow tempo. I'm not going to put the metronome on for now. We're just going to go, and then once you get to that top note, just let it ring out. Okay. So we're going to go try it again. And really take your time. You know, get your instrument close to you and look what you're doing. If you're struggling with these, and don't worry if you're getting something like that, that's fine, because we're approaching a new topic. So with new topics, the first time you're going to do it, it's not going to sound perfect, but the second and the third and the fourth, and the more you practice it, it's going to start sounding more fluid and more normal to you. It's going to feel like a more natural thing that you're trying to achieve. You know, like, but with any new thing, when you're starting it out, it feels strange and abnormal. But I'm sure when you first picked up your guitar, it felt strange, even just to put your hand on a chord. That felt weird. And I'm sure with most of you now, I'm like, you can play these chords, and that's starting to feel like a more natural process for you. But anyway, going off on a tangent as always. So we're going to go back on that chord C, and we're just going to go up the strings. Okay, so playing an arpeggio going up. Okay, so I'm going to go, and we'll try it again. And we'll just do one more time. And then this time when we do it, we're going to try go down. We're going to go descending as well. So we're going to go up the chord, and then we're going to go down. Okay, so it's going to go, and then we'll try it again. We're going to go down again. And then there, you've done really well, I'm hoping. So now what we're going to try implement going up that chord whilst we're going to be thinking about moving up the chord. So you don't, to switch between, we're just going to keep on chords 1 and 2 for now, just so, because we're already thinking about doing something new with our fingers, which is going up the chord. So for now, we're just going to keep on chords 1 and 2, so chords C and D in the C position. So you don't have to change any of your fingers there. So we're going to go up the chord like this, and then we're going to slide up, and go back down, and we're going to slide up again. So just practice this a few times, get comfortable with it. So again, we've got a nice slow tempo, and then again. And if you're feeling comfortable with this, we're going to switch to that last chord, that A minor chord, okay? So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. and A minor. So remember, these fingers stay the same. This finger just slots underneath, like so. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll try it again. So then when you switch it from that A minor back to that C, again, that ring finger is the only one doing any real work, because that's the only one that has to move. So we're going to switch that up to there, and you're back in place for that. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. And to get through this as well, rather than having your hand like this, where you extended, just rest it on the body of your guitar, and rest your pick on the string, and just apply some pressure. And I'm just going to let my pick. I've got quite a thin pick. I'm playing with a 0.5 millimeter. I don't know what picks you guys have at home, but this is if you notice it, it's quite a bendy one. And I often find for doing things like these, playing with a flexible pick is a little bit easy when you're doing arpeggios, as opposed to, I've got another pick here which is not as flexible, and I wouldn't feel as comfortable doing that. Or we have, I brought one here to show you guys. This is called a thumb pick. So it's one that I put on my thumb, you guessed it. So if I was to do that, and again, it's not flexible, but you guys, with picks, it's whatever you find comfortable. So if I was to do that, my pick is not as flexible there. So I'm going to go back to this one because I prefer these. So again, it's all your all personal taste, but I find the thinner ones are more flexible and easier to rest on the strings when you're doing arpeggios. So we're going to go, I'm really just letting my pick rest on that string and letting the pick do the work. So I'm going, just making sure I'm keeping my hand nice and steady. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then last but not least, A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you should have a little bit of a task getting over that, but if you're finding that relatively easy, well done to you, because I know when I started out doing that, I found it quite difficult myself. So yeah, without further ado, I want to get into a good song exercise, because I like to do songs every session we do. I like to do new songs, and as no one suggested a song last week, I'm gonna suggest one myself, keeping in theme with the topic of finger picking and playing arpeggios. And the song we're going to be looking at today is a song called House of the Rising Sun by a band called The Animals. It's a really old song, really cool song. I'm just going to quickly play you an example of said song. So I'm sure you'll have heard this, or there's a band called Muse that have done covers of it. So I'm just going to play a bit more volume there. And what this song is doing is playing chords going up, ascending with an arpeggio. So it's going up and then down. We're just going to keep it a little bit simple for today, and we're going to just kind of finger pick it. And when I've got finger pick it, and we'll do it playing it like it is on this record. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get into it now. So yeah, House of the Rising Sun. It's really cool song. It's going to start on our A minor chord here. So I'm just going to give you a little example of how it's played on a record. It goes. So yeah, these are all nice open chords apart from our bar of F. But remember, we can play a cheating F if we want, because we're just going to play those top notes anyway. So if you play your cheating F, it's just like that. So you don't have to focus on that bar chord if you're still coming to terms with like kind of practicing that bar chord. Yeah, so this song starts on A minor. Okay, so we're going to get our fingers in position on A minor, and we're going to go A minor, and then the next chord we're going to be playing is C. So you're going to take your ring finger and just place it up there on that note C in the third fret, and then we're going to go to a D. And when we go to a D, so if you don't know your D, it's the second fret on the G string, the third fret on the B string, and finally the second fret on the high E string, like so. So when we're playing this D, we're not going to be doing our arpeggio from here, the note A or B, because it's not in the chord. We're gonna skip those strings. So like we've been doing that string skipping exercise, we're going to be going from. We're going to start on the note D. Just going to put this screen down so we can have a little closer inspection. So you can see what my right hand is doing. It's going. So I'm plucking it down like so. Okay, but I'm going to try it with fingers now. We can show you a different technique because it's a good one we can do. We can go. You can also play it. So I'm using the 3 fingers like that. And I'm going to switch to the next one. And then I'm going to go on our D. So get your D in position. Always be thinking about when you're playing your chord, always be thinking about how you're going to transition to your next chord. It's always good practice to get that in your head because it really serves you well. So I know I'm going to be switching that hand to go from that position like that, and that's going to be my first finger is going to do the leading with this D chord. So I'm going to go, and then I'm going to go on our F. So if you don't want to do your cheating F, that's perfectly fine. So the cheating F is just you bar those 2 fingers there on the 1st fret, and then you put in your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and then last but not least, your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the G string. So I'm going to go in. So you might want to go like this. You might want to play it all with your thumb. That's totally fine. And then back to our A minor, and then C. And then we're going to go to an E major. So this chord progression goes C, A minor. There is a C in D, New Orleans. So we're just going to do single shots now, just to get you get the chords in your head. They A minor, they call the C, right, rise it, and then we're going to go to an E chord here. Sun. And it's been back to an A minor, the house of ruin, to a D of 1 to an F, and it's just going to end on a nice transition between A minor to E. God, I know I've won, and that's all of the chord progression, and it goes like that throughout all of the song. It's really cool when songs do that, as we've done before with pumped up kicks, when chord progressions just have the same chords all the way through, and the melodies and the lyrics and whatever changes around the chords. It's a really good piece of songwriting. So we're gonna go start. So I'm gonna start off with you. So I'm hoping some of you will have these chords sussed out. So I'm going to go back to my pick now, but I've shown you a few different ways that we can attempt to do this one. So number 1, you've got the original. So if you listen to the record, it's going to sound like this. So I'm going to go. So what I'm doing now is it's like a roll. So I'm playing the low A because that's the chord. And then when I get to that top E, I'm plucking that as well. I'm going back down. So I'm going. And I remember when I go to that D chord, I'm not playing, my bass note becomes the note D, and then when I'm doing the F, it stays as well, so I can keep my hand on those top 4 strings like that. And so A, and then back to A, C, and D, and F, and A, and E, and A, and E. So when you're playing with this, get the record on and have a go through with it. And if you're struggling to do it like that, because that's it's a tricky thing, especially if you're very, very new to the idea of playing arpeggios, I recommend putting the pick down or playing with the pick and just going playing each string individually. Like, so don't worry about those roll-ons. So you're just gonna go. So I'm gonna go up and then down, and then change, and then change, and change to our F, and then change to our back to our A, to our C, and then to our E. So then it goes back to your A, back to your C, D, F. So basically it's two sets of A, C, D, F, and then it's one A, C, E, and it's back to the A, C, D, F, and it's going to end on the two chord thing of the A to the E to the A. So all in all, it's going to sound like this, and I'm going to do some very terrible singing now, so forgive me, but hey ho, we're going to go for it. So there is a house in New Orleans they call the rising sun. And then it's going to go back to the first chord progression. Then it's been the house of many have won. And God, I know I've won. Like that, like so, yeah. So have some fun with that, guys, because it's a good song, and there's a few different ways in which you can try and play it. But most importantly, I think it's for that song is just to if you're getting the chords and following the chords, that's brilliant. And anything on top of that. So if you're managing to do the chords and pluck them out like so, that's even better. But and if you can even have a go at attempting to do the roll on, it's like a. So I'm plucking that one and then roll and then pluck, pluck, roll, then pluck, and then that. And then when I do that top B, I'm going to the B and the G. So it's like dun, 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 dun. So just practice that if you want to try and do that, because it sounds really cool. And I recommend if you want to practice that rhythm, it's just to keep on that same chord. Don't worry about changing chords. Just focus on getting those rolls and those plucks. So that pluck, roll, pluck, and then pluck, pluck. And if you want to try doing it to a metronome, also do that's good practice. Like I said, playing to metronomes, they're not the most fun of things, so I don't recommend to do it for like longer than I don't know, like 5 to 10 minutes a day, because although it is really good to play to a metronome to practice keeping in time with things, it does suck the joy out of playing, in my opinion. So if I'm to do it to this metronome of 80 BPM, I'd be going 4 and 2, 3, 4, and so obviously that's very slow on that one. But yeah, so yeah, have some fun with that, guys. So this brings me to I want to get into, as we're doing these lessons, like I want to do some top tips, because I know I've not we've been going over songs, we've been learning different scales and stuff, like sort of like going through bits and bobs of rock school grades, but I've not been giving you any tips because I don't know why. But yeah, so I'm going to start off this a week by week thing. I'm going to give 5 top tips. So we're going to start with my first top tip, and these are tips to really get you playing to the next level. So if you're a beginner or if you're an intermediate, it's still relevant to both of you, and it will benefit your playing, and you will find yourself getting better and better and better, faster and faster, which I'm sure everyone wants to do. Who doesn't want to become top notch in 6 months? That'd be ace, wouldn't it? So yeah, so these are the tips I'm going to say. So number one is learn new chords. Like chords make up music and make up the guitar. You know, there's no use in being really good at doing your riffs or can play scales if you don't know your chords. So first and foremost, learn all your open chords. So you know you've got your G, E, A, D, and what else we got? Yeah. So and then all and yeah G, and then also it's really important to learn how do you make that minor. So you know I know we've been going over these before in weeks, but knowing how to make that minor. So if I was to take the first ring off, making it minor, and also, so once you've got this chord, you're practicing these chords. Try take off a little finger and see what happens there. You can make a different chord, or you might put your finger somewhere else. Like just really like have some fun with expressing different things because the guitar is it's as much as it is a journey through the means of academia. You know, you can be taught something and the right and the wrong way to do it. You know, who's to say that you can't just learn how to do something yourself without the need for a teacher. So if I was to just have some fun and put my finger in different, find that E chord for example, and put my finger, take one of the things off and put it in different position, just use your ear, you know, trust your own instincts. If that sounds good, go with it, and you're going to make that into something that's cool. You know, so that's tip number one. Number two is practice playing your rhythms. Like it's really important to be to get this wrist if you're a right-handed guitarist, or if you're a left-handed guitarist, your left wrist, to get it really fluid. And a really good solid way to practice rhythm is just to go through chord progression. Doesn't matter what chord progression, could be three chords, but just really and start off slow. So if, for example, if I was going to play, say we're going to play that chord progression we were doing earlier on, so if I was going to go C to the D to the A minor, I'll just start doing different rhythms. So like I might go straight, so I might start doing all downstrokes, but keeping it nice and tight with the time. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. And I might want to expand upon that. So it's really good to build yourself up from the basics. So once you get the nice tight rhythm, when we're doing like straight 1, 2, 3, 4, all downstrokes, you might want to start experimenting with going up, down. You know, you might want to go up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You know, like so. So rather than going all down, I'm going alternate and I'm going down, up. Sorry. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down, up, down. And you'll find you'll get more confident with your rhythm when you are less worried about finding the transitions between the chords. When that becomes more comfortable, when that hand gets more comfortable, this hand is going to become a lot more confident as well. Yeah, so that's tip number two, guys. And number three, my tip number three for the week is developing your ear. So when I say developing your ear, I don't expect anyone to go, you know, start growing massive large ears through the means of science experiments or anything like that. I mean, what I want you to do is to be able to like the basics of being able to play guitar, how to tune your guitar without the use of a tuning pedal. So earlier on at the start of this lesson, we showed how to tune. So even if your guitar's out of tune, you can tune it to itself as long as you get that sort of E relatively in pitch, so know where that note is. You can tune it going up like that's going fifth fret to the matching it, fifth fret to matching it, fifth fret to matching it, and then only on the B string you slide it down a semitone. So this whatever I'm fretting on, it's the string I'm matching it above. Okay, like so. And a really good way to be able to identify chords, to be able to hear a song go, I'm listening to that song, that sounds like an E chord, is just to start playing your chords. So I might play an E, like so, and I might want to stop playing that, and I might want just to hum that E. So I might go E, and then play it again, like so, and just go around with all your chords. So I might want to do it C. So match that, get that tone of that note in your head. So C, and then play it, and then that is a really good little activity you can do to be able to strengthen your knowledge of being able to identify cause and strengthen your ears oral skills. Yeah, so my fourth tip is to be able to apply what you've learned into a musical context. So when we're playing scales, like we've been doing C major scale, we've been doing E minor pentatonic, you know, yeah, you know, things like that. How do we put them in a musical context? So, like today, at the start of this lesson, I was taking that A natural minor that we've done, you know, yeah, open, 2, 3, open, 2, 3, open, 2. So, how do I apply that in a context of making it into a song? I might want to make a riff out of it, you know. So, I was going A minor, you know, things like that. Sounds cool. It's really good to like take what you've learned and just try and play it in a musical context. Try and make a musical phrase out of it. So, you know, if you're playing your E minor pentatonic, make a little riff, make a little melody, something like that. And finally, last but not least, you'll be surprised how many people don't know this, and it's not a bad thing necessarily because it shouldn't ever hinder someone's want or need to be able to play an instrument. But I find it's really beneficial to know your notes on the guitar neck. So I'm not expecting everyone to know every note on every position, but just the basics. So let's go on our low E string, go up to the first 5 frets, know what that note is. So we obviously know open is E, and if I put it on the first fret, that's F, and it goes F sharp, G, G sharp, and then if I know that on there the fifth is A. So if you know in 1 to 5 there, and if you go on the A string, you know 1 to 5 there. That's a really good starting point. So learn those notes. If you don't know it, you know the internet's a fantastic tool. Look it up. Um, it's really important because it will serve you well when you are playing later on in your life. And that's it, guys. Yeah, that's my top 5 tips for this week. And House of the Rising Sun, arpeggios. If anyone has any comments or questions, or if you want me to kind of go over something that we've spoken about a little bit more in depth, now is your time, or forever hold your peace. Um, and also, if people have song suggestions, as I always say at the end of every session, um, here's your time. Have a go. I'm going to be doing some little videos in a week, just some little clips of these scales, just so you don't have to, if you want to know that scale again, you know, how do I play the A natural minor? You don't have to siphon through a long 45-minute video. You can just go, right, go on there, little 2-minute video, close up of the guitar, bang, 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 done. You know, so I'm gonna do that this week. I'm gonna get on with that. But yeah, if anyone's got any song suggestions or anything you want me to go over again, please feel free to do it now, or I'll happy at the end. But if anyone's not got anything, then I think we'll leave it there for this week, guys. And I hope you're all well and hope you all have a great rest of your week. So I'm just going to leave this running for a minute too. Get my electric. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great rest of your week and weekend, and I'll see you all next week. Okay, bye for now.